Ladies and gentlemen, for today's topic, we are going to talk about an epic battle that is as old as time itself. Well, maybe not that old, but it's been going on for a couple decades. I'm talking about the battle between Carnival versus Royal Caribbean. Which one is better? Because from what I've seen, people seem to be torn down the middle or heavily sided to one or the other. With the exception, I want to say, of this year here in 2022, because obviously we've seen a lot of the crazy fighting videos, primarily on the Carnival end, and it swayed a lot of people to ride the wave to the Royal Caribbean side. Anyway, I will say when it comes to the cruise ship industry, this is the equivalent to our Coke versus Pepsi. I think we all can agree on that. Now, I recently discovered a blog known as Cruise Blog, and they talk about 5 things that Carnival Cruise Line does better than Royal Caribbean. Now, before we begin, I do have to put the disclaimer out there because I know this is going to get a little rowdy in the comment section. I know how all of you are. I do believe that all of this does come down to opinion and personal preference. I personally don't believe that any cruise line itself is better than any other cruise line. I do believe that every cruise line in its own right, whether you're talking about Carnival, Royal Caribbean, NCL, Celebrity, Princess, you name it, they all have that one thing or maybe a couple things that they do better than the other cruise line, which I'm going to talk about in this video. Also, I think at some point I will probably make a real, true to form Carnival versus Royal Caribbean. However, I do want to get a couple more Carnival cruises under my belt. I've taken 5 Royal Caribbean cruises this year. Haven't taken any for Carnival. I was on the Mardi Gras last year, going back on the Mardi Gras later this year. Or sorry, well, I'll be on the new celebration later this year. So maybe at that point I'll do a comparison. However, I will be doing maybe like a Virgin to Royal Caribbean if you guys are interested in seeing that. And finally, I will say, guys, like I said, I know some of you are going to get pretty crazy in the comment section. I know you loyal to Royal and you fun people with Carnival, you get a little riled up and you are extremely loyal and faithful and loving of your cruise line. I understand. However, if you guys are going to talk about it in the comment section, there is nothing wrong with debate. I believe we need more of it in this world. However, there is a debate and then there is fighting in a point to where it is in a hateful manner. So just please, guys, keep it PG and have some fun down there. So there are 5 points that the writer of this blog decided to point out that Carnival does better than Royal Caribbean. But I will say the first one is extremely, in my opinion, boring, uneventful, and it doesn't really matter. They talked about the difference in time in which they have a brunch. Carnival has brunch until noon, and Royal Caribbean has brunch until 11:30. It doesn't really make a difference. So I'm deciding to replace that. In my opinion, I do believe that arguably Carnival not only has a better sail away party than Royal Caribbean, they arguably have the best one out there. Now I know some of you are going to say that's because Carnival is a party ship. I don't look at it from that perspective. Yeah, you can have a good time on Carnival ships, but I've had a great time partying on Royal Caribbean ships, Virgin, you name it. When it comes to the sail away, for Royal Caribbean, for example, it's kind of uneventful. You would think that they would have some giant crazy party. No, not really. They make an announcement that we're sailing away to kick everything off, but in a nutshell, Royal Caribbean basically says, hey, look at all these amazing things that we have to do on board. Go enjoy yourself, and well, we'll give you 5 more announcements within the next 10 minutes about what's going on as far as the activities on board. Carnival, however, they have the cruise director out there, they have the dancers out there, they have all these acts and all these activities going on. Cruise director comes out and says, hey guys, we are here for a week or however long the duration of our cruise is. We are all family. You guys enjoy yourself and just, well, have a vacation. Just do what you want to do. And I think personally that is cool because if you set the tone right out of the gate, you kind of set the foundation for what the cruise is going to be like. Whether you guys like it or not, the party environment or maybe things being a little too energetic, I think that is irrelevant. I just like the fact that things are still somewhat established when it comes to a Carnival cruise. Personally, I like it. Now, this isn't all about me, obviously. I just wanted to put that out because, like I said, I thought tea time was a little... that was irrelevant. It didn't really matter. But what the writer put on the blog stating that Carnival does better than Royal Caribbean is that they cut down their activity time, meaning the activities on board are usually around 30 minutes or so, whereas opposed to Royal Caribbean, the activities are about 45 minutes, and if they're doing a Broadway show on board, it can be as long as 2 hours. However, I do want to provide a counter argument when it comes to those activities, because that's something I'm going to touch on later on in the video as well for another point that this writer talked about, Carnival doing better than Royal Caribbean. Essentially what you have is on Carnival cruises, you do have the comedians and you have activities, bingo and all stuff going on, which they try to bring it down to about 30 minutes or so. Well, not bingo, we already know. Aunt Petunia is not having it. She wants to keep going until the wheels fall off. So, but the other stuff that goes on board Carnival ships, they try to narrow it down to about 30 minutes time. Now, there is the argument on whether 30 minutes is long enough for an activity, because regardless, you're on the cruise until the cruise is over. So a lot of people don't care. However, on the counter to that, you have a lot of people that say, well, I want to do as many activities as possible on any given day, so I would prefer shorter activities. I think it does come down to preference. However, on Royal Caribbean ships, especially the larger mega ships like the Oasis class ships, they do have things like laser tag and the bumper cars, which typically last a duration of about 30 minutes. So I do believe in that sense, yes, there's kind of an argument, but not really. Next, the writer claims that Carnival has activities on board that are more geared toward a younger demographic than Royal Caribbean. And I want to make this clear while I continue. I'm not trying to argue against this blog, but I have been on both ships and I do understand the argument. However, when you make a claim like that, it does have to provide proof and evidence to back up. Now, yes, Carnival does have things like Harry Potter trivia and whatnot, but also on Royal Caribbean ships, like I said, you not only have things like bumper cars and you have the basketball courts on a lot of ships for both of those lines, but when you look at Royal Caribbean, they have things like Flow Rider, the surfing simulator, they have the skydive simulator, iFly, they have all these things that are going on. Like I said earlier, the laser tag, there's so many activities. And Wonder of the Seas, they got the zip line. I can go on and on and on. Now, Carnival has all the activities too. They have like Royal Caribbean on the other end, has rock climbing and stuff. And well, again, I think it's pretty evenly matched. So I wouldn't say that's a valid argument. You could say that maybe on the older Royal Caribbean ship, they don't have as many activities to do as opposed to like the newer ships. That would be an argument, but to say as a whole, like a blanket order, that Carnival doesn't have any activities, or Royal Caribbean rather doesn't have any activities as much as Carnival geared toward younger people, I do not think it's true at all. Now, finally, the writer of Cruise Blog claims that Carnival Cruise Line has a more casual environment when compared and stacked up to Royal Caribbean. On this part, I guess I could definitely agree. One thing I've noticed about Carnival is that it is a very carefree, somewhat environment. And I know some people, again, you're going to talk about all the angry, drunk people that are causing all the disturbances and disorderly conduct. I'm not talking about that, all right? I'm talking about on a normal Carnival cruise, because there is not a scuffle, a brawl, a fight on every single Carnival cruise, all right? Well, maybe on the Magic and Valor and what's the other one? Anyway, I don't want to get into it. But what I'm saying is, Carnival typically does have a little bit more lax vibe and atmosphere when you compare to Royal Caribbean, because when you go on a Royal Caribbean ship, maybe not all of them. However, I've been on 5 cruises, like I said, this year, between the Ovation, Freedom of the Seas, Wonder of the Seas. I've been on a lot of ships this year, and I've noticed that people do tend to somewhat dress up a little more when it comes to the evening dining time, getting into the later evening. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong by any means. I love putting on a nice suit. However, I also like being casual from time to time, and I've noticed that whenever I do my blogs on Royal Caribbean ships and I'm recording on video, and people either see me wearing my hat, which I think is kind of like a trademark for me, or they see me wearing a tropical shirt at dinner, they rip me apart in the comment sections. You, sir, where's your suit? Take that hat off. It's disrespectful. You have no manners. I agree to some extent, right? But I believe that at the end of the day, you were on vacation, and I didn't come on vacation to dress up. If I wanted to do that, I would have gone on a Regent or a Cunard or something like that. You know, I think that would have made sense. So I do believe there should be a blend of what people's preferences are, and I do believe that Royal Caribbean also provides that. However, as a whole, I think Carnival has a formal night, if I remember. Yeah, they do. But unless, you know, with the exception of formal night on board a Carnival ship, typically you'll see a lot of people that are dressing more so down when they go to dinner, unless they're going to a specialty dining option. It might be a special night for them. But for the most part, there is a little bit of overlapping. As you can see, pretty much the same thing between Carnival and Royal Caribbean. Now, to sum all this up, like I said, I do believe that every single cruise line has its strong point, with the exception, of course, maybe like an MSC, because that food alone is, oh, I think the only thing they got going for them is maybe the price to book a cruise. So the U.S. market's unmatched. You can get a balcony for like $300 for a week and spend the whole day at their private island, Ocean Cay. And then you also have protection. You won't have to worry about pirates invading your ship because it's protected by the Don, the mafia that works with MSC. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. I don't want anybody, coming to get me. I want to hear all of your opinions on Carnival and Royal Caribbean. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As usual, just know that I appreciate you guys. I love all of you. You want to book a cruise, of course, doesn't matter if it's Carnival, Royal Caribbean, or even MSC. You can check out our travel agent partner, our sponsor touring plans. They will make sure you get set up with the vacation of a lifetime. Link in the description box below. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to let you guys know, I will be resuming live streams today. I have a live stream today at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're just gonna hang out, talk, do some Q&As. I haven't talked with you guys live in months, so I'm excited to do it, be able to hang out with all of you. We'll go over everything for the channel, we'll go over cruise news, all the craziness that's been going on. So 6 p.m., make sure you guys tune in. Anyway, guys, just know that I love and appreciate all of you, and I'll see hopefully most of you later on tonight. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Take it easy.